but you can't get in.
Right, so can we just set some times that we can access to the car?
The
Like-
staff here can let people know.
Yeah, so like 9:30, you can have access to your car, so at 9:30, and then 9:45, we just go and open the door, and so to give people opportunity to be at this meeting.
We'll make those arrangements.
Yeah,
Thank you. So I'm gonna reconvene this meeting, and I want the record to show that, Councilmember Marks and Councilmember Levine, had the conversation, and, it's been between both of them on a motion that we went on a break before we went on a break. And so, nobody else knows what that is at this point from the council, so I'm gonna start off with Councilmember Levine, to restate your motion. Or is it gonna be Councilmember Marks?
I defer to Councilmember Marks. She's already in the chair.
Hey, Councilmember Marks, go ahead.
Thank you. So, as you mentioned, Mayor Bottom, Councilmember Rogin and I were able to discuss a few different points that council had brought up. And as Councilmember Krakowiak asked, council was able to work together, and this is something that we have come up with that I would like to put towards council for our motion.
Just to be clear, two council members.
Two councils, two council members.
The rest of the council member has not worked at this, and we're about ready to hear the motion, and we'll have a discussion.
Correct.
Okay.
So I make a motion that council directs staff to prepare hold on a second, let me find that part. There you go. The council directs staff to prepare the temporary ordinance that requires that the landlord provide 90 days written notice for those who have yet to receive notice at the Fox Cove Apartments. The city of Burien allocates $3,000 per unit to those already who have received notice. Contracting with a nonprofit to provide the services for relocation, as well as direct city staff to hold the current owner accountable for habitability violations.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Can you restate the motion?
Let's restate that motion, please.
Sure. Motion is that I move that council direct staff to draft a temporary ordinance requiring that 90 days be provided to those at Fox Cove Apartments who have yet to receive notice, 90 days written notice, that the city of Burien provide $3,000 per unit to those who have already received notice. And the city contracts with a nonprofit to provide those services, and also direct city staff to hold the current owner accountable for habitable violations.
So we got a motion and a second, and I wanna check in with legal on what you've heard with that motion. And see if there's anything there that, we're gonna get into trouble. So go ahead.
One cautionary remark I would have is holding the prior owner responsible for code violations. My understanding is the property is already sold and closed.
Its current owner is what I mentioned.
Current owner. Typically, how one proceeds with code violations regarding a current owner or new owner is by red tagging the property and moving the tenants out. So I'm not sure you want to be in a conundrum of having a property that you're red tagging and at the same time working with, in fact, the property owner's plan is to bring the property up to code.
Councilmember Kubiak.
Sounds like, Councilmember Marks had more, wanted to share more?
No, I was just going to be willing to strike that final portion of my motion.
We haven't discussed it, there's been a second, we haven't had any
Just
discussion.
saying that I'd be willing to at that point.
So
No,
since we haven't had any discussion, I think that we would be okay if you strike what part, why don't you restate your motion?
So, parliamentary procedure, the motion's on the table with a second, so now it belongs to the full council.
It was a second, but hadn't been discussed. So, question for parliamentary. So there's a motion, it's been seconded, but it hasn't been discussed. Motion of the maker of the motion can pull back, and the second of the motion has to accept. and we would still be able to have the discussion.
Is your question whether the maker of the motion can strike the last part of the motion? Is that your question?
Yes.
Right, once it's made and seconded, it's my
Well, that's the debate.
understanding that it is now to full council. I can amend it.
Yeah.
And it can
Go ahead,
be amended.
Councilmember Concordia.
Yeah, but to amend it, just to clarify, there seemed like there were 4 parts to the motion. I think, or 3 parts?
As it was stated before, that last part, if it gets.
So just tell me, I heard, so there's 3, right? The 90 days, and then the funding, and then the current owner.
Yes.
The 3 parts,
Current,
okay,
yes.
okay. So I'm going to, make an amendment, I'll do it one at a time. So I'm gonna strike the last portion of it regarding the current owner piece of it. I also don't agree with the funding portion of it, because I think it's not clear enough. But I wanna start with just making an amendment on the last portion regarding the current owner, and letting the council know that I will make another amendment after we discuss this one.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, so on the amendment to remove the current owner and, potential litigation of violations or concerns of violations. So that amendment's been striked from the original motion, and we've had some discussion on it. Let's get a discussion, let's take a vote to remove that from the original motion. Okay, unanimous? Okay, so with that stricken out, go ahead, whoever, I don't have anybody on, we had Councilmember Correa, so go ahead.
Thank you. So at this time, knowing that we could add this portion later with more information, I amend the original motion to strike out the funding portion of it at this time until we get further information from our Human Services Department and Legal Department. Because we say $3,000 per household, if there are 2 people sharing an apartment, and each person in that apartment, if they're not able to find suitable living arrangements, then each of those people actually would need financial assistance. So I think we have to really think this through and check in with the organizations that provide this before we move forward with assisting folks in their transitional needs. So my amendment is to strike the portion of the motion that consists of the financial compensation, knowing that this council can revisit that as soon as we get more information.
Second.
We got an amendment to the original motion, second. Any other discussion? Go ahead, Councilmember Costa?
So I also am concerned about putting a specific dollar amount into ordinance when we're not sure where that money will come from, nor necessarily how it will be expended. And our human services budget, just to verify, it's $6.50 per capita, which is more than 0.1% of our general fund. It's actually 2% of our general fund. So for those of you who have quoted other numbers, and it's obviously a small amount of money, but as you've heard many people say, our job is to protect, provide public safety, which is why we spend an inordinate amount of money on our police services. So I'm also not comfortable specifying a dollar amount when we do not know the source of that funding. And I'd rather have us, and nor the legality of offering it to some and then potentially it not being accessible to others. I just would like a little bit more background on that.
Councilmember Olguin?
I think the rationale behind that is to help out these folks in the emergency situation that they find themselves in. And I think that's what we've done before. As to the nonprofit that we subcontract with to help us in that process, I think they may know how to handle this. The idea is not to give each one of the individuals that live in this place $3,000. The idea is that per the household, per unit, they receive that fund on an emergency basis. Will that be available to everyone? We don't have the budget for that. I mean, let's be real. We understand that portion. We're not being disingenuous in that, but we do want to make sure that if we've got the 90-day protection, that on the back end, some of these mitigating costs, are going to be abated over time versus you got 20 days to figure out the first and last month and a month deposit, $4,500 at least to be able to move. So being able to help them out, and part of it is maybe our Health and Human Services director can help figure out if there's other funding available that we can bring into the city to help abate some of those relocation costs. So at this point, I don't know if we need to go circle and circle and circle on the issue. Maybe what I want to do is call a question on this amendment.
Councilmember Marks.
Yeah, his call for a vote is non-debatable. It takes a supermajority to pass it, 5 to 2. That's
All right,
that's five.
so let's take a,
5 votes.
let's take a vote on the motion of the 90 days and.
No, we're taking
Of the funding, which will we be taking away the funding and keeping the 90 days as the amendment.
So we're actually, Councilmember O'Gean called for the vote on the amendment, so we have to actually vote on the calling for the vote.
Oh, okay, it's for the amendment. Okay, so the amendment is to strike out the $3,000 from the original motion.
So we have to make sure there's enough council members who want to end the discussion.
So you're,
Okay, so this is on the discussion. All right, so to end discussion, we call for the question. So all those in favor of the discussion? Councilmember Costa? Yeah, okay. So we have 5 to 10, so it passes.
No, we didn't.
We have 4, okay. All right, so we can continue the discussion. Go ahead, Councilmember Marks.
I think what might be missed, or maybe I'm wrong, but the 3,000 per unit for those already on notice, it is my understanding that the first 6 units were on notice as well as any of the Section 8 units as well. I'm not sure what the total number of units are, if the public knows the total number of units that have been put on notice. But at this point, it is a lot less than the 36. So that $3,000 per unit would be a lot less than the $108,000 that we originally talked about, which is why it is in this motion. So it would be anything from $1,800